Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the coveted James Charles collaboration palette with Morphe. I'm going to unbox it on camera and I'll also insert swatches while I'm talking about them. So let's dive into this. So first things first, there is a crap ton of bubble wrap, which I guess is a good thing. I mean, like, so I'm hoping because of all that bubble wrap, nothing is going to come broken. So this is the unicarton. It has a picture of the main look that James Charles did on his channel when he was promoting the hashtag unleashyourinnerartist branding. And on the back it says, "Hi sisters, James Charles here and welcome back to my palette." Cute. I love glam, but I also have a huge passion for crazy, colorful, outside-of-the-box makeup, and I created this palette with that in mind. I included every beautifully formulated shade necessary to create literally any look you could possibly imagine. I can't wait to see what you come up with when you unleash your inner artist. Okay, and here is the palette. I think that the packaging is really nice. It's kind of like a demi-matte finish, I guess? I don't know. If you want the ingredients, I would keep the unicarton and not throw that out. And let's open this baby up. I'm like terrified of dropping this. And this is the palette. There she is. Oh, okay. Okay, so this just comes out. I thought this was attached to the palette, but I guess it's not, which I'm fine with. So if you put this piece over the shadows, you can see what everything is called. From left to right, we have Canvas, Ring Light, So Good, 518, Rusted, Halloween, Wig, and Tea. And on the second row from left to right, we have Punch Me, Sister, Mary, Literally, You're Kidding, Shook, Boutique, and Benny. And on the third row, which are the larger pans, we have Flashback, Face, Tune, Code James, 10% off, No Beans, Spooky. On the fourth row down, we have B, Guac, Hello, Playground, Brother, Artistry, Love That, and Pinkity Drinkity. And on the last row, we have Social Blade, Daddy, Cape Cod, Cola, Acapella, Escape, Single, and Skip. The colors overall look really nice from first impression. So I'm going to do a quick swatch right on my hand here. I know that he had some issues with double swatching his palette in his video and people called him out on it and he said swatches don't really matter and they don't show the performance of the shadows. For the most part, I disagree with that. I don't think it shows how well they perform on the eye. The only way to know if they perform well on the eye is to put them on your eye. But I do think that swatching shows some very important things about a shadow and how it might work for you or what the true color is on your skin. And that's not necessarily how it will work on the eye, but it does tell you some other things that people might find important for when they are purchasing shadows. So I know Jen Loves Reviews did a video on why swatches are important, what you can learn from your swatches, and I will link that video down below because I found it really helpful and really interesting. And let's be honest, we all love a good swatch, so I'm just going to do a couple of quick swatches on here. I'm immediately gravitating towards that purple metallic shimmery shade. Not really sure until I swatch it. And that one is called Artistry. So that is a purple with a blue shift, I'd say. I think that color is really gorgeous. It's obviously not a matte, but I'm going to swatch one of the purple mattes next, and that one is Escape. Okay, well that is definitely very pigmented. Let me just see how far down I can drag that. And that was just dipping my finger in once. So I'm going to say that I think, just based off of the first couple swatches that I did, these shades seem to be pretty pigmented, but obviously that can change from color to color. Some colors are harder to do than others, but purples are usually some of the most hardest. English is difficult. Purples are some of the most difficult shadows to create. And so I think if the purples perform well in a palette, it's a good sign that a lot of the other colors will too. James did say that he doesn't like the way that the shadows perform with his Shape Tape concealer, which I believe is what he usually uses for shadows, and that's what I do as well. I'm going to use his recommended method and do the final look with that and see how the shadows wear, because I do want to give them a fair chance, and I do obviously want to try out the method that he recommends. So here I have some of my favorite brushes, some of my absolute favorite brushes. So I know for a fact that these work because I use them all the time. A lot of these brushes in here are Luxie brushes. I really like their blending brushes. So I'm using all of the brushes that I know definitely work for me. I also have Fix Plus here for any of the metallic shimmer shades. And I have my Morphe Continuous Setting Mist to set my face. I also have the Smashbox Lid Primer. And I have MAC's Paint Pot in the shade Painterly. So let's get on to putting some of the shadows on and we'll see how they work. So I just tried a few of the shades on camera with a set concealer as the base on one eye and no base on the other eye. And I can definitely say that if you are going to be using this palette, I definitely recommend putting at least something on your eyes, because the side that had no base just would not blend at all. Particularly the deep colored mattes would not blend. So for example, the dark green, dark blue, dark purple, I think the browns, the deep browns, and other deep neutral-ish colors like burgundy, those were fine, but the deep colored shadows, the matte ones, had some difficulty blending. So we are going to go into doing the look that I have in mind that I guarantee you is going to go horribly wrong, because I don't exactly know what I want to do, but I just want to try out as many colors as possible. So I'm going to try and do a rainbow look going across my two eyes. So, you know, red, orange, yellow, and then green, blue, and just purple for indigo violet, to try out the most amount of colors I possibly can. So I'm going to start off by putting a little bit of Scotch tape on my face to get that clean line. I usually only do this when I haven't already done my face makeup, because I'm going to mess up my face makeup by doing this. Okay, we're now zoomed in, and I'm going to just take the Smashbox Photo Finish Lid Primer in the shade Light and put that all over my lid. And I'm going to be taking the light green shade in the palette called Social Blade and blend this about 1/3 of my eye down, maybe a little bit further, so I can blend the blue in this together. So like James recommended, I'm going to be patting this on and then blending it out afterwards. Okay, and now I'm going to take the same brush, just wiping it off in my color switch, or the $5 one that I got from TJ Maxx, and then I'm going to go into the yellow shade and do the same thing on the other eye. And I'm going to be using the same patting and then blending motions. So I'm going to go into the shade called Playground, which is the lightest blue, the lightest matte blue. And I'm going to go right in the center of my eye and just pat it in. And now I'm going to take the orange shade and do the same on this eye. And lastly, I'm going to take the red shade on this eye in the outer corner and the purple shade on this eye. The red shade is called You're Kidding, and I'm going to use the purple shade Love That. And now I'm going to take some of my MAC paint pot in the shade Painterly, and I'm going to just, I guess, a half cut crease. It's not a cut crease, so I don't really want to call it that, but so I'm going to dip into one of these metallics with my finger. I think I'm going to dip into the lighter gold, which is called So Good, and then go over that with both face and ring light. Okay, this is not going exactly how I want it to, so I think I'm going to just bite the bullet and spray some Fix Plus on a C brush. That's still not really coming out the way I want it to. Let's just move on to the shade called Face. Okay, this one is applying a lot better than the other one, and I'm doing it with my fingers, so it also feels very different. It feels a lot smoother than the other one. I'm going to blend the center of the lid with the colors on the outside just by using motions pushing the outside color inward. And now I'm going to just take the shade called Ring Light, and I'm going to pop that on the center of the lid. So now it's time to take off the tape, which inevitably is going to ruin my concealer, but I wanted to have my face makeup done for this. Ooh, look at that line. Yeah, my concealer's kind of gone, but it's fine. I don't even think you can tell on camera, and if you can, my bad. So I'm going to just now do the under eyes. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of mirroring. See how that works. Okay, I think mirroring is going to work best, so we're going to do that with the other eye as well. Okay, and now I'm just going to pop on some lashes, mascara, a little bit of eyeliner, and call it a look. Okay guys, and now I have my lashes and my liner on, some mascara, and this look is finished. Oh, and before I forget, last but not least, in James Charles fashion, I have to set my face with the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. So let's do that. So now this look is actually finished. I love it. I don't know. I think that the colors look really vibrant. I think things blended together well for the most part. Overall, what I have to say about this palette, I'll go into the positives first. I think that the shades are definitely incredibly pigmented. I think that most of the shades blend together really well. A lot of the shimmers are really beautiful on the eyes. They swatch beautifully as well. And overall, I think that if you're someone who either loves to play with color or wants to try to play with color, I mean, this palette is about $35 with a discount code, which there are a million on YouTube. So there's no reason for you to buy this at full price. So it's about $35 with the discount code, and for the amount of shades that you get, which is 39, I think that the amount of product for the value is great. And I think that the quality for the value is great as well. I think that my issues with the palette are that some of the darker matte colors, like the dark green, the dark blue, the dark purple, they can be a little bit patchy, and they can be difficult to blend into other shadows. I found when I was doing that previously before I put on this look. I don't think that it's the end of the world, because I think I only had an issue with like 3 or 4 of the mattes in the palette. And also the shimmer that was called So Good did not go on my lid properly with my finger or a brush set with Fix Plus. So I will say that if you do get this palette, I think you really need to get to know this palette, acquaint yourself with all the shadows, know how each one works best, and you'll be able to get the best look out of it. However, this was my first time using this palette, as you literally watched me unbox it on camera, and I ended up doing this. So I think that it's not something that you have to get to know incredibly well to be able to use it at all. So I would say overall, $35 about for this palette. For 39 shades, a lot of different colors, a lot of different neutrals. I think that this is definitely worth the money. I think that the pigmentation on these colors is beautiful. I recommend this palette to anyone who does like playing with colors or wants to try some colors out. If you're not someone who will ever touch a colored eyeshadow in your life, then probably don't purchase this palette, but I do think that this is something that I will be reaching for again and again and again when I want to try some more artistic looks. However, as for every makeup product, I know that James Charles has been in some heat on Twitter recently and other places, on YouTube comments and whatnot, commenting on people's videos about how they're lying for views or how they're not using the shadows properly and other things like that. And I think what I have to say about that is just, you know, you can be the most delicious piece of chocolate in the world and there are still going to be people who don't like chocolate. So, you know, just because I like this palette or other people like this palette doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to like this palette. Everything is personal preference. I also really appreciate how bubble wrapped this product was. It had a ridiculous amount of bubble wrap, to the point where I'm wondering if all of it was necessary, but I guess they really wanted to make sure that these were coming intact and not broken. So overall, I really like this palette. I definitely would recommend it if you like colors, and I think that's all for this video. So I will definitely be doing some other looks with this palette, and I will post them on my channel, so let me know if there's any specific type of things you want to see. I think it would be really fun to try and recreate one of James' looks that he did on his channel, so maybe that's what I'll do next. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and leave a comment on what you thought, and I will see you all in my next video.